Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky. Yes, we are here today to try another Born to Stand Out. Yes. So it looks like there's only 3 of the bigger ones left, and then we have a bunch of small ones. So apparently they don't use these anymore for Lucky Scent. They finally got rid of them. I bought them before that. So there you go. But I'm going to choose one of these 3 because they're just easier. What is it? Drunk Saffron. Ooh, okay. So here's my issue. Saffron doesn't work well on me. It really doesn't. There was one of their fragrances where it actually did. I'll try to remember it and see if... I'll have to look through the videos. I remember, I really liked it too. It was Dirty Heaven, I think. I think it was Dirty Heaven. And they did really well with Saffron there. And I do find that with Born to Stand Out, with more difficult notes, for me, they work really well. Like musk, they do it really well so far. Though I've been told certain scents don't smell great. But I haven't run into those yet. Some of them said they have those dookie notes, as I like to call it, because I like to keep it professional. So there you go. Okay, so at this time, $210 for 50 milliliters. And while Drunk Saffron Born to Stand Out delivers yet another knockout sophisticated gourmand. Oh, okay, I like gourmands. Juicy plum and boozy cognac notes are swirled with creamy vanilla and finished with a very sexy, spicy, chic combo of leather and saffron. I don't know if I find saffron sexy, but I mean, to each his own. A sweet and sexy, slightly boozy wear all day compliment getting gourmand superstar. We love. Didn't write it. So, a glass of indulgent cognac and lipstick stains. Edgy. So, notes. Actually, it's pretty simple. Plum, cognac, saffron, leather, coffee, Indonesian patchouli, vanilla, and musk. So there you go. They're really going with that plum and cognac. Okay. I like coffee. I need coffee. Woo! Woo! My goodness. Okay, so I'm afraid this is going to break. It didn't. 3 of them have, but this one is a winner. So here we go. I smell something and it smells like cognac. I mean, why not? So there you go. 1, 2, and then I always have this little guy. 1, 2. Ooh, okay. That cognac immediately comes through. If you know the scent, I don't drink a lot of cognac. It's not really my style. But I know the scent. And so I'm definitely getting that cognac. And there's definitely... The thing is, in the first blast, there was plum. But the thing is, plum is very delicate. And cognac and saffron and leather are a little bit, more... They have a little bit more punch. And plum's kind of like, woo! So... I'm concerned for the plum because they're advertising it. It was there in the first blast, but I don't think it can compete in this category with these power notes. So definitely getting that cognac and vanilla. Vanilla is definitely coming out, and saffron. I mean, saffron. When you know saffron, you know saffron, and I know saffron, and usually it doesn't play well with me. But so far I have found with Born to Stand Out, they've found a way to tame it in comparison to other brands that I've used where I was like, ooh. This one isn't an ooh. This one is, this one's actually really nice. So it is a saffron, and I am getting a little bit of that leather with cognac and vanilla. This reminds me of another one that they've done. I've done so many. That was also, I think, saffron and leather. So it's a little bit different, but it's a little bit repetitive. Yeah. So, excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Yeah, it's like a vanilla cognac. A vanilla cognac with a little bit of saffron. Yeah, there's not a huge complexity to it, but I don't always need that. I just don't. Some of the other notes, like I'm not getting the patchouli yet, but that may come up later. Plum. I'm not getting plum. Very interesting. The rest of the notes, even coffee, am I getting that? Ooh. We'll get to that. I'm not getting the coffee. And I love coffee. So why did I do that? Let's try it on the wrist and let me recapture that moment. Okay, on my skin, the saffron just is not blending well. So when I'm moving in the air with the beautiful scent, it's fine. You know, it's really nice. It's fine. I like it. But when I am putting it on my wrist, there's something really sharp about it. And it's like saffron. It's saffron and something really bitter. Now, coffee can be bitter, so maybe it's that. But it's so much prettier in the air with that vanilla, and it's just working really well. But there's like a note in there that's really dulling it and making it just like bitter, and it's kind of like vanilla and these other things, and then this bitter note. Let's try it on the shirt. No, it's there too. It's almost identical. That's really weird because in the air it's not as bad, but it's the same on my chemistry as it is on the shirt. It's just this note that's dull, and it's slowly coming into it now. It's just such a pretty cognac vanilla with a little bit of saffron and leather, but the problem is there's just something dulling it. Ooh, let's try it here. It's not as bad here. It's not as bad here. Yeah, it smells like a tire. That's what it is. It smells like burnt rubber. That's exactly what it is. When a tire like peels out and you smell that, even if you walk into a tire shop, that's what this smells like. So you have this pretty vanilla cognac, and I'm not really getting the plum. Vanilla, cognac, and a little bit of saffron, and then you're getting tire. That's not good. I mean, there are some people who probably like the smell of tires, and I say this, like sometimes there's niche brands that create things that are kind of specifically a certain scent. Demeter is one of those, and I know there's other ones where it's like, I want to smell like a tire. You go buy it, you smell like a tire, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of the times they're layering scents, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not a scent that I would go for. I don't really have a memory. I do. I have to change my tires. It's going to be expensive. And then I go in and I go, ooh. I don't own a car now, but back in the day when I did, I moved to a major city. I'm not paying that. So there you go. It's expensive enough. So I know that smell, but this, yeah, I'm not digging that. I'm not digging what it's selling. I'm not. Yeah, smells like a tire. So this one doesn't smell like that when you move around though. So just know, most of the time you're not going to be going, when you're smelling a scent. You're just not. So when I'm just milling around and doing this, which you wouldn't do, but if you did, I'd applaud you, because why not? It doesn't have that note. But when you get close to it and you're dissecting it, it smells like a tire. So what scares me a little bit is that it's going to eventually, when I'm moving, that tire smell is going to catch up. So not my favorite, but that's okay. That's okay. What we're going to do is we are going to check back in an hour, and we're going to see where this one goes. And hopefully the tire scent dissipates and we keep enjoying the other parts of it, because why not? So I will see you back in an hour. Okay, so it has been an hour, and it still smells quite lovely. So it does. The tire smell is starting to go away. It was really prominent there at first. It was just kind of confusing. I'm still getting that vanilla. This definitely is a gourmand vanilla based. And that's what I'm getting with it. You're getting a little bit of that patchouli, but not too much, because I'm not a huge patchouli person, so it's not overwhelming. But let's try here on the wrist. Okay, so it definitely is like a vanilla saffron. Vanilla saffron with a little bit of leather. And really the patchouli doesn't come out on me that much. I can get a little hint of it, but I don't tend to pick up patchouli a lot. It doesn't come out in my chemistry that much. And it's not a note I gravitate towards, but it's like a saffron, almost like caramel vanilla. Yeah, which isn't a bad thing. The tire is gone. It was like a tire, which was just really strange. I just did not care for that. But let's try it on the shirt. Okay, it's almost identical to the chemistry. Interesting that this is staying pretty much across the board what it is. The only thing is I'm still getting a little bit of tire after an hour on that sweater. Just a little. I'm still smelling it. Somebody peeled out and they left it behind. So there you go. But let's try it on here. I think it's the saffron, because I'm getting a little bit of here now. Like this is a little bit behind. Yeah, I'm getting that burnt tire. So it just depends how burnt tire plays on you. I think most of us don't know until we're there. So it's that vanilla, and I still get that cognac, because cognac has like this almost like nutty kind of flavor to it, or at least to me, like that dulls the sweetness. So that vanilla, the cognac, that saffron, little bit of leather, I am getting that. But the tire smell, almost gone from my chemistry. Gone from my chemistry. My chemistry doesn't like tire smell. A little bit here, and really prospering here, but not as much as it was when I first put this on. So if you're sensitive to scents like that, those tire smells, everybody's like, what? Exactly. Then this probably won't work for you. But considering most people don't know, give it a whirl. You know, it's always good to get a sample. I always say that. But it hasn't really changed too much. This is pretty much kind of what you see is what you get, except for that one note. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back in like 4 hours. I had to count. Okay, it has been 5 hours in total. We made it. And I could definitely still smell this. What I will say when moving around is it's mostly a vanilla scent now. So yeah, it's vanilla. So it doesn't have as much of that saffron smell when you're moving. It definitely goes into gourmand territory, which if you don't care for, you may not care for this. So it's like a vanilla with a little bit of something underneath. What you doing? She was attacking something. So it's like a gourmand vanilla with something underneath to ground it a little bit more, and I think it's still that saffron. That's what I would get from it, but I don't know. It's not quite the tire smell as much as it was, but let's try it on the chemistry. Yeah, it's definitely vanilla saffron at this point. So if you like that combination, then this is something that you would really probably enjoy. She is, but let's try it on the shirt. Yeah, it's vanilla saffron on the shirt too. The tire smell is gone. I'm not really getting any of the cognac anymore or the leather as much. I mean, maybe there's a hint of the leather, but it really is that saffron and vanilla scent. Where are you? And here, she's licking me. She loves her mommy. She really does. but there's like a bitter note that I just don't care for on this, but I'm not smelling it on my chemistry or on my shirt, so it just may be on these. I think it's the bitterness of the saffron. I don't know, but it's not bitter on my skin or my shirt. It's just here. So it's vanilla with like a bitter note and saffron. Ugh. Usually things smell better on that, not on that. No. So it doesn't really change that much. It pretty much stays in what it is. It is a gourmand, but it's kind of a grounded gourmand thanks to that saffron. So, you know, if you like saffron, this is going to be a winner for you, you know. So let's talk about it. If we were going to put this into a category, I think, again, I think you could wear this year round. It might be a little bit cloying during summer months because it is a vanilla gourmand. And sometimes they could be cloying if you're in humid weather or really even hot weather. It can magnify it, especially with the humidity. But, you know, sometimes I wear gourmands when I probably shouldn't, because you wear what you want when you want. But I think it would really do well most of the year. Maybe summer would be a little bit more difficult and people tend to go for lighter scents, because this isn't overwhelming, but it is a decent blast and I can definitely still smell it. So then as far as masculine, feminine, I think we wear what we want when we want, as we know. But if we were going to categorize it, I do think some may think this goes more feminine, but I think the cognac along with saffron, for whatever reason, makes it a little bit more neutral, but these are unisex, so it doesn't matter. All fragrances are. But I think if we were going to categorize it, it might lean slightly more feminine because of the gourmand aspect. But I think the saffron and cognac, for a while, cognac, when it's there, grounds it a little bit much to where it's not just a gourmand. So, as far as a rating, this one's tough. I am going to give this one a 6 out of 10. And the reason is because I love a good vanilla, and this does have a nice vanilla base to it. But the issue is I'm not a huge saffron fan unless it's done really well, which with Dirty Heaven, it was done really well. I really enjoy that one. I think with this one, the issue is it has somewhere in it that burnt tire smell, and then sometimes a bitter note that just kind of breaks apart the scent in a way that I don't want it broken apart. This isn't a scent that I would gravitate towards. Like, I don't know if I would ever want to like go, I think I'm going to wear that one again, even though I had the sample. I think it's like a one and done for me, where it's just like, but it's not bad. It definitely has its place. The vanilla saffron, there's going to be people out there who absolutely love the uniqueness of it. But for me, I don't know if it ever fully blended as well as I would like. I think they did well with the vanilla. I think they did well with the saffron, even the cognac, but there was that strange note, that bitterness and that burnt tire that just didn't work for me, because that's not a key note that I like, that kind of brought it down. So, you know, there you go. There you go. But I think some people really love this, especially if you're a saffron lover. So there you go, making the saffron a little bit of a gourmand. There you go. So that is my review of Drunk Saffron. I may have called it dirty. It's drunk. So there you go. They like drunk and dirty. Born to stand out. So that is it. Have a wonderful day, my friend, unless you are here for the K-drama suggestion, which we are getting to next. Okay, so this one I kind of went back and forth on because I do enjoy this one, but I do. And I watched it again recently, and I liked it when I watched it the first time. I do think it's really enjoyable, but I'm going to say so in this way. This is more of a drama. It has to do, you know, with people who have trauma. And we'll just start with the name, because if you've watched K-dramas, you probably know this one. It's okay to not be okay. And this one was pretty popular when it came out, and it's still really on a lot of people's top 10 lists. Now, I do enjoy this one a lot. but there's issues. Now, I have a background in psychology, and so I find with psychology in Korean dramas, they could be a little bit difficult because sometimes they don't deal with the issues well, or things are resolved really quickly. And it's not just Korea, this is also in America. A younger brother whose older brother has autism, severe autism. And he's told at a young age that he basically has to take care of older brother. And the mother of these two boys is constantly telling the younger one, he's your responsibility, he's your responsibility. And the mother ends up dying rather young, but she basically is murdered. And the only one who saw it is, the older brother with autism. But he can't really verbalize it. He is functioning. He can work. He draws things. He works part-time with a friend at a pizza parlor, and he's just, he's definitely functioning. And most autistic people are. It just depends where you are on the spectrum. So he does need to be around people, a lot to help guide him through life. He couldn't live alone. Though he can be independent, but for the most part he needs supervision. So, very interesting character. Actually, I think probably the most interesting character of this K-drama is the older brother. I find him intriguing, the whole character arc. But the younger brother basically has to deal with having to take care of somebody at a very young age. There is a girl that he was interested in as a child, who he meets later on, who is a writer who writes dark fairy tales, which most fairy tales are just dark. That's the whole purpose of them. I love them. But they're grim. So there you go, especially if they're told the correct way. Like Disney changed Cinderella. Cinderella's very gruesome. If you read it, it's like, read it. But she basically is raised in an extreme situation with abuse and things, which you'll see. They don't show a lot of it, but it's hinted at, and you see as it goes on what happened. And she basically is a sociopath. Now they don't. I don't think they state that, but basically she has an antisocial personality disorder, and with that is sociopaths and psychopaths. But they tend to just call it antisocial personality disorder rather than taking those two things out. And a sociopath is created while a psychopath is born. Just so you know the difference. So we don't know, but most likely she was created because of her family situation. And there's a history with the three of them, and there's a lot of avoiding until eventually the male does, the younger male warms up to her and a relationship is there, that's what usually happens with Korean dramas. They're very relationship focused. So it basically shows how other people's poor choices and also people who are mentally ill can shape young people's lives, or how mentally ill people, because the younger brother works as an orderly at a mental facility. I do feel that the female lead, who is, I would say, has sociopathy, she actually is pretty dead on. She's somebody who, it's also a spectrum to a degree. I've known people who were sociopaths, and people think, oh my God, it's not what you think. Usually sociopathy definitely is comorbid with narcissism. Antisocial personality disorders in general tend to have that. And she shows this. So it can be frustrating, but it's interesting because you see their histories of what made them become who they are and how they try to overcome that. So that's interesting. There's the murder plot line, which I'm kind of, but it adds to the problems with the three people involved, the three main characters. It's very problematic in some ways. It's beautiful. Her clothing is very like gothic and interesting. The way it was filmed is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. It is a very slow burn, but it's interesting just to see how the characters grow. I don't know if it's realistic. especially with the female character. I do want to say, if you are in a relationship like she is, they're trying to make it look how happy they are with the brother. I would say until she goes into therapy, it would be best if he stays away, just because he is a pleaser and somebody who's taking care of people, and somebody who is sociopathic may be more attracted to somebody like that because they can get a lot out of them. But but it's beautiful. It's gorgeous to watch. It is a slow burn. Some may find it slow. The psychology is off, but the characters are interesting. Her costumes are gorgeous. They really are. I'm like, that's cool. The house is gorgeous. The illustrations that she do is interesting. So I do find it interesting. Just know that psychology-wise, ignore it. But she is a psychopath. So if you want to see how they work, not all of them. This is one version. There you go. That it is good as a study. So there you go. So It's Okay to Not Be Okay is on my list, even with the issues, because it is an interesting find. I enjoyed it, and I watched it recently, and I really liked it. So there you go. And with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.